Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
All right. Are we on? We're live? All right. Awesome. So, hello, everybody. I'm Allison. It's nice to see everybody here. Welcome to DCL News Today. Stands for Disney Cruise Line. This is Allison. We have Colleen over here. We have Shannon. And then we have Ron. So
Allison,
we are going
you're
to be
quite
talking...
quiet.
Am I? Should I talk? Is this better? Louder?
Sound the same to me.
Oh no. I'm not sure how or why. Was I quiet before too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. I'm not sure how to fix that. Can you not hear me at all?
I can hear you. Just talk louder.
Okay. All right.
Eric Morton says it sounds fine on the feed.
Okay, it's just me then. I don't know.
Just you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for letting us know. So we're going to be talking all about the Disney Cruise Line. I'm very excited to chat about this. I have been on, I believe, 7 Disney cruises. I've been on each of the boats at least once. And I've been on also 1 non-Disney cruise so far. So I have at least a little bit of something to kind of compare Disney Cruise Line with. And I can really tell you that the Disney cruise is by far better than anything that I've been on. I mean, even though I've only been on 1 other cruise, it's by far the best. So I wanted to kind of go around and ask the rest of the panel here how many Disney cruises you've been on, and if you've been on other cruises besides Disney ones, and why you feel that Disney, if you do feel this way, is kind of like the top of its game compared to other ones that you may have been on. Can I start with Colleen?
I've been on 7 Disney cruises as well. I double checked, it's 7. I've been on 1 non-Disney cruise. It's the only cruise I went on like without my parents paying for it. My husband and I went on a Norwegian cruise because his sister worked for Norwegian Cruise Line. And we enjoyed it, but we did walk around the whole time being like, you know, on the Disney ship. We didn't want to gamble. Gambling's a big thing on cruise ships because you're out in international waters. I don't care about that. I don't need a casino on the ship. That doesn't matter to me. And one of the big things we noticed was when you were in port, Disney will still have stuff happening on the ship. Not like a lot of stuff, but there's still stuff going on. You could still go to the pool or whatever. Norwegian, like, the ship shut down. Like, the pools they were cleaning, you know, so it was kind of like, oh, because I don't need to get off at Nassau anymore, or Grand Cayman, or Cozumel, honestly. I've been there. I've done all the things. I don't need to get off the boat. But if you didn't get off the boat at Norwegian, it was like, well, I don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Although I will say, this is my tip, schedule your massages spa day for a port day. You don't care about getting off. It's a great day to go to the spa. There'll be an opening. That's when we usually go.
And there are usually discounts and stuff on those days if there's any ever.
Less people are doing it. Yeah. That's a great day to go. And then you can like go to the steam room or like go to the pool and there's just less people on the boat. I've been on every ship at least once. The magic 4 times I learned looking this up recently. I had written down all that stuff down, Shannon. Where did I put it? It's on my phone.
Is the magic
I have it written down.
Okay. What? Sorry. So every ship at least once. And yeah, I love them. I would pick, if it was like go to the parks, go on a cruise, and it wasn't about how much money it costs, I would definitely go on a cruise.
Interesting.
Now while everyone else talks, Tom's texting me, so excuse me for a moment.
Oh, sure. So Shannon, how many cruises have you been on? Anything other than Disney? And why do you prefer Disney?
I've only been on Disney cruises. I've been on 6. Colleen's been on 1 more than me. Everyone else in my family has been on 1 more than me. Whatever.
Our parents went on one without us. And they were
Yeah.
very, like they said the whole time, they kept being like, we left our children at home. We left our children, until someone was like, oh, how old are your children? And they were like, oh, they're adults.
Yeah.
But we didn't
They're in
bring
their
them.
20s.
Mom would
And
do
I guess
too.
our mom has been on the most because she went on the one with Colleen as well. So yeah, so I've been on 6. So I've been on the Magic 3 times, and then I've been on all the other ones once. I did get to, through my Disney internship, visit the Wonder, one of the other ones I got to visit again. I'll figure that out in a second, for a day. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't really want to go on any other cruises. I just want to go on Disney cruises. I mean, a big thing, if you are like in a, family with a bunch of different ages, it is great for families. I think it's more accessible than other cruise ships, which are more focused on like gambling. And yeah, they just have so many fun activities. We're like a theater family, so we love all the shows. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that we're going to be focusing today on for this particular show. That's one of the big reasons why I hear a lot of people gravitate towards the Disney cruises is the amount of entertainment, the amount of activities that you can experience on board, and the fact that it is so family friendly and they have so many different things for all different ages. And that's something that we're going to talk a lot about today. So you bring up a really good point. So Ron, can you tell us a little bit about your cruising experience?
Sure. I've actually only been on one Disney cruise, and that was recently. After 4 or 5 years of planning and rescheduling, thanks to working on getting her. Our first cruise as a family was for the 1-year anniversary of her adoption. We left that morning.
Nice.
But I am a travel agent. I do book Disney cruises. So my academic side of the knowledge is definitely on the higher side. And there were several, I think almost every ship, at one point we had either a book or a hold on a room before we decided over those 4 years to what we did on the Wonder. And I have been on a a Carnival about 25 years ago. So that was the only other cruise I've done. I was 15 and it was kind of awful. So, and it's hard to combine them saying what they are now because Disney changed the industry and everybody else jumped to that. But for a 15-year-old guy, like we spent 95% of our time in the arcade back then, which they don't even exist anymore. So
that's definitely a very good point. And even the Disney cruise. I mean, I think I went on my first Disney cruise. I was, I believe, 13, and that was like right when the Disney cruise sort of came out. So to give you a little bit of background information on the history of the Disney cruise. So at first, before there was the official Disney Cruise Line, before you had the Magic, the Wonder, etc., you had something called the Big Red Boat, which I'm sure you all kind of remember that. And it wasn't owned by Disney. It was through, I believe it was Premier, owned that ship, and they had this kind of partnership with Disney. So Disney allowed the Premier Cruise to have Disney characters on the Big Red Boat. So they kind of partnered. They had these packages where you could you could have tickets, you could do land and sea stuff, and a lot of people took these packages, and they had this for, I believe they had this partnership for about 10 years or so. And I know that it did, as Ron was saying, change the industry, where for a very long time there was a saying with cruises, it's for the newlywed or the nearly dead. So you had people that were of retirement age or they just got married and they're on these cruise ships. If they were not known for having family-friendly activities, they weren't known for having things that were good for children. And then Disney kind of changed that. Now, it was around, I think it was 96 or so. If I'm incorrect in this, you're more than welcome to correct me.
1998 is when
1998.
they launched.
So yeah, so they launched the Disney Magic in 98. I think it was 95 or 96 when the contract ran out with Premiere, and Premiere actually decided not to renew with Disney. They decided to go with having different characters appear on their boat. Do you all remember what characters they decided to go with instead?
It was Looney Tunes,
yes.
And I don't think it was them deciding not to. They knew Disney had the cruise line in development because the ships were already being contracted at that point. So it was more of them going, well, we're not going to renew for just a couple years to give you guys money to put us out of business. So that's kind of what happened there.
So there you go, yeah.
Premiere stuff, they did some really cool things that even the Disney Cruise doesn't do. They had a whole pirate kidnapping night thing where they would take you to their they had a kind of a pirate night where they had like a whole little treasure island kind of thing where they would kidnap some people at the end of dinner, take them to the island, then the other people would go rescue them. Oh, and then there'd be the party on the island at night.
Oh, that's wonderful. I don't know if people would feel about this nowadays. I mean, that was like late 80s, early 90s, but that's pretty cool. I mean, Disney did keep up a pirate evening. They do have the Pirates in the Caribbean parties, which is pretty cool. Very interesting to have a Pirates in the Caribbean deck party when you're on a Canadian cruise. They still do that, which is kind of funny.
It's funny.
But yeah, so they launched the Magic in 98. The 99, it was the Wonder, and then there was just those two for a little while. And then I believe it was 2011 and 2012 they launched the Dream and the Fantasy ships. And scheduled now to we don't know what's going to happen. Oh, there's a ship. There we are. So what do we have here?
That's
the Magic. All right, very nice.
So I remembered
all different characters in the back.
I have this magazine which Colleen will click back to me in a moment, but I have this Eyes and Ears, which is the cast member exclusive magazines that come out. This is one from the launch day of the Magic. So,
oh, nice.
Which is my birthday. I was 4 when it launched. Because I'm a child. But yeah, so it's got all this information about it inside, which is pretty cool. So we bought this at Disney Warehouse because I was like, that's my birthday. But yeah, so that's just, a cool thing.
I love that. That's
and
pretty neat.
I used to have it framed. No. I got this many years later. I bought it at a place that had just a bunch of Eyes and Ears magazines. But I've been on the Magic was the first one we went on. We've been on them in order of their launch, just kind of coincidentally, I think. But yeah, I've been on the Magic.
The Dream and the Fantasy we went on the year they launched.
First years, yeah.
Because it was
very
there are new ships. We must go on them.
Yeah.
Shannon, do you have your inaugural ears?
My ears?
Dream?
I don't think I have them here.
Shannon,
I think they're at Mom and Dad's house.
Because we went on the Dream very early, in March of 2011. And so
I have ears for the Dream and the Fantasy, I think, for the inaugural year.
Inaugural sailings.
And signed by the captain, because we had the same captain for both of those. Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, wow.
So
that's a photoshopped picture.
The whole fleet there.
But I remember Disney releasing this to be like, look, the new ships will be bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have the Magic and the Wonder. You can see the smaller ones there in the back. They have a passenger capacity of, I believe, 2,700 passengers. And then the newer ones, you have the Dream and the Fantasy, and their capacity is significantly larger. I believe their capacity is 4,000 passengers. So they're definitely quite a bit bigger. People feel like kind of a little bit like torn. Some people are a lot of people I hear love the Magic more than the newer ships, the Fantasy and the Dream. Does anybody feel strongly connected to one ship over the others?
So I was really excited. We went on the Magic in November, and there's a Rapunzel restaurant now. And I was very excited by that. However, I really enjoy, I'm gonna find pictures, the adult areas more in the bigger ships. They have, there's like 3 bars on the Magic and the Wonder. I haven't been on the Wonder in many years, but the Magic, like, there's a sports bar and there's kind of like a nice bar, and then there's like the bar with the stage. And they're not like intensely themed or anything. You know, they've got names and stuff, but like the bars on the bigger ships, I have mostly pictures of me outside bars, but like this is like the pub, you know, and it's got this random lamppost. This is in like the champagne bar.
And I think the existence of those champagne bars on the newer ships is a cool lounge addition as compared to.
This is by a bar. Oh, and this is my favorite. There's a bar. The one with the stage is themed to the London Underground. And it's called The Tube.
Right.
And I love it. So.
Is that on the Dream? Or
no,
the
that's the Fantasy.
Okay.
I'm going based
because
I've pictures.
Yeah, I've only been able to participate in bars on the Fantasy. I believe.
This is in a bar, though it doesn't really show off anything. We were playing trivia.
Very nice.
I have a lot of pictures.
Oh, that was like a Mary Poppins kind of bar.
It was the
like
carousel. There's a carousel themed
bar.
So the
But that one was like open for the trivia during the day.
Yeah, all the bars or almost all the bars, not the sports bar normally, but most of the bars like kids can go in until like 7 or something, and then you have to be over 18. But on the Disney ships, you have to be 21 to drink. Most ships, once they get out in international waters, you can drink at 18. Disney, you have to be 21. And so international teenagers are really pissed because they can drink at home, but they can't drink on the Disney ship.
I do think there is one exception to that is cruises, the European cruises that leave from a European port and end in a European port, I believe, are 18.
That makes sense.
I can see that. That would make sense. We've only ever we've been everywhere in the Caribbean and the Bahamas you can go, really. We just keep going on those because we don't really care where we go. We just want to be on the boat.
And we're in Florida.
Yeah,
that's one of the interesting things is that with a lot of different cruises, the point or purpose for people to go on these cruises is the destination is, you know, oh, this cruise goes to Alaska, this cruise goes to Hawaii, this cruise goes to Cozumel, for example. I find with people that go on the Disney cruise is the opposite. That a lot of people book a Disney cruise because of what is being offered on the ship itself. People don't really book the Disney cruise because it's going to Nassau or it's going to St. Thomas. People book the cruise because of the ship itself, and that's very different. And I've seen over the years a lot more cruises start to give their guests a lot more offerings on the boat itself than they did in the past. And you start to see all of these advertisements for rock climbing walls and like little like surfing areas and stuff like that. It's definitely something that I noticed, and I'm sure that they kind of followed Disney's suit with that.
And with that, I mean, Disney really upped the inclusion of the aqueducts, really kind of was the first of those real game changer kind of activity things. And given that Disney builds so few ships compared to Royal or Carnival, that they and Norwegian, like they've taken it to an even further level. So it's real, like they've got roller coasters on ships now. They've got go-kart tracks. They've got the rock climbing wall. So it's really going to be interesting to see what comes on the new Wish class if we get anything more than just one at this point, because those are one of the easiest things to cut from capital budgets being about $1 billion a ship. Sure. So, and with the cruise demand likely waning for at least the near future, it might be interesting. And even then, like even without anything changing on Disney's end, the shipbuilder Meyer Werft that's building the new class has downgraded their capacity from 3 ships a year to 2 ships a year. So other than the Wish right now, things are going to get at least definitively get pushed back, if not even including the Wish.
Yeah, I figured they'll finish the Wish because they started it. But yeah, I don't know after that, you know, if they'll build the other ships they said they were going to build. You know, at least
it was supposed to go 2021, 2022, 2023. Correct me if I'm wrong. For like all the next 3 ships. Right.
I could see them being pushed out of here, but the other hand is the Magic and the Wonder are kind of ending their useful life as a first line kind of ship. That's usually in the 25 to 30 year range is when a cruise line will retire a ship and sell it to a secondary line. I mean, I don't know if that includes the kind of massive refurbishments that those ships had, those multi-month dry docks where they made the boat longer and added a whole bunch of stuff. So that could really have extended the useful life of those ships. But so it could be that Disney still needs to move forward on those new ships just to replace the aging part of the fleet.
I mean, yeah, they've done some massive refurbishments on the Magic and the Dream in the past, you know, 10 years or so. So it doesn't seem like they plan on retiring them soon. Because like when I went on the Magic in November, you know, there was restaurants and stuff that was totally different than when I'd been on it 5 years ago. Like, they've redone a bunch of stuff, you know. They've removed staircases, like... Yeah. And everything used to have a Chihuly chandelier, and they don't anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually found out they took those away because they were too big for the people to get good pictures in the atrium.
The stairs? The
Chihulis that went like halfway down the atrium. Because I asked about it on, and I recommend this to any adult to do it, is the Art of the Theme tour all the ships do. Sorry.
She's
excited.
Yeah.
But that's where those went. And even the Wonder just went through a minor dry dock where they changed out one of the bars to make it to be kind of because about a year and a half ago they added Tiana's, or a couple years ago they added Tiana's Place, which is fantastic. So now I forget what the name of the bar was beforehand, but the little like sidebar that's on I think deck 3 that's on the hallway leading to the restaurant was rethemed to be the French Quarter bar. So that got tied in as well. So that was just when it finished its Alaska run last year. Hold on, someone's climbing the stairs.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well,
okay, so
she's got places to be.
Before we move on with what we're going to talk about next, can we check the chat? I haven't checked the chat since I've been talking. If anybody had any questions or fun comments so
People
far.
have mentioned Castaway Key. I love Castaway Key. They say they're
so
not
if
a beach
anybody
person.
doesn't know, Castaway Key is Disney's private island, which lots of cruises have their own private island in the Bahamas, but it's Disney, so it's better. It's not like it's a theme park, but it's an island.
But it is divided into like, just like on the ship, there are like areas for different age groups. The Castaway Key is the same, so there is like a beach that's just for adults. And then there's like the family beach, and then there is a place I think you can ditch your children.
Yes.
I think
Scuttle's
so.
Cove, I think it's called.
That's it. Yeah.
Scuttle's Cove.
Yeah.
And
So-
Disney don't they technically don't own Castaway Cay, that they're like renting it for 99 years or something like that.
That's standard.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
standard
Yeah.
thing.
Hey,
It's a
fun
90
story about Castaway Cay. So we did jet skiing one time. I'm terrified of jet skis. I don't know why I agreed to this. Like, you're trying to get up to a certain speed, and like I'm freaked out. So Shannon is on the jet ski with my dad. So they're like with the group. My mom and I fall behind. Mostly mom's just staying with me. And you know, there's the guy at the front and a guy at the back. So we kind of just ended up with the guy at the back and got kind of like our own tour. And since it was just adults, he's like, so this used to be a drug running island.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, there's a runway on it. You know, and so like that was fun. You were like, oh, cool.
Yeah, that was a thing. That's not just a rumor. That's a
Yeah,
thing that
Yeah.
happened.
It was originally called Gordy Key, and there was actually at least one reference on the island. I found a power junction box on the restrooms near Pelican Plunge that actually still said Gordy Key on it.
It's amazing. That's so cool. But yeah, so that is Castaway Cay, and then they're going to have Lighthouse Point as well. I think they started developing that. So we'll see what happens with that one too. That's, I believe, also in the Bahamas. So that's going to be exciting.
Lots of islands out there in the Bahamas.
Yeah,
yeah.
Lighthouse Point is actually just the tip of an island. It's more land than they're getting than they have at Castaway. But there's going to be a few more restrictions on the development. But it's going to, from the artwork, looked like there were actually more buildings and things like that. So there might be more Bahama cultural activities and things like that.
That'd be nice.
And Joe Rohde is the lead designer on the project for that. So you know it actually is going to be
Yeah.
tied to the culture and a little more locked in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they said that the actual draw of the place, the actual Lighthouse Point itself, is going to be off limits to guests, and they're leaving that area just for the Bohemians to access.
Nice. I wanted to move on to, and I don't know if Ron, you still need to kind of be off and on, but I wanted to talk to you about cruising with.
Colleen, you hit a picture.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
There's a fun picture.
I figured.
Oh no.
That's not
There
what I
we
meant either.
But that makes more sense.
That was what I was
Yeah.
going for. Ron has a
So,
baby. Let's talk about that.
Before Ron gets into it, I was going to say on the first day of the cruise, everyone is allowed to go into every area.
Yes.
So I recommend, if you're an adult or like an older teen or something, go look at the kids' areas because they are very cool. And I'm very jealous that I don't get to play in them anymore. They're the perfect photo ops. But yeah, so that's kind of how we have all these pictures.
Yeah,
And
so you're
it's not
allowed
just
to
the
go
first
there for
day.
open house.
Yeah, there are staggered open houses and standard
Yeah.
open house activities. Like they have the anyone. We didn't learn this till too late on our cruise. Was that they have the anyone can cook things for adults? But I'm like, well, they don't have one, and they have them in the kids club, but they don't have one for families. But if you look at the way the navigator's a little confusing when you're looking at it, that there's an open house that overlaps with those activities, so parents can go to the anyone can cook in the kids club with their kids. And there's other activities, like we took Andy to a tea party with Fancy Nancy at the kids club, which she's not allowed in the kids club because so let's start off with that. There are 4 levels of kids clubs on the Disney cruise. You have it's a Small World Nursery, which is for children 3 and under, or under 3. And I don't know if they take maybe 3-year-olds that are not potty trained, because the 2 requirements to get into the Oceaneers Club and Labs is you have to be 3 and potty trained out of diapers. So there might be a little bit of overlap between them. Originally, the club originally there was no nursery. That came a few years into the line. But originally, the club and lab were separate for like early to like younger kids, and then like older kids to preteens. But now they have just what kind of activities is the separation. And on most ships, they can go back and forth freely because it's a locked-in corridor. All of the kids' clubs are restricted access. You can't get in unless it's an open house. You can't go in to get your kids. They have to bring your kids to you. So nobody but that specific team, those specific team members that are allowed to be in there, are allowed to be in there. And then you have Edge and Vibe, which are the preteen and teen clubs, which are more of hangout kind of spaces than the kids clubs. They have some organized activities, like they'll have people planning for a flash mob that they're going to do during the Pirates deck party. But it's from what I've seen, and the kids it's a place for them to congregate with video games and and board games and stuff, their own coffee and smoothie bars.
Shannon and I have done those.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you guys can talk a little bit more about
we
those.
Talk a little bit about the with you, Ron, with the younger kids. I was gonna have Shannon talk a little bit about the Vibe and Edge kind of stuff.
Sure. So our main experience, our main experience was with the nursery, and they were fantastic. It is the only one of the clubs that has a cost, and I think it's, as of now, it was $9 an hour, and you book by the half hour, so it's $4.50 per half hour. There is a discount with multiple kids if you have to put them in. It's not a steep discount, but it is a discount. But those prices are lower than, I think, a babysitter in my area, so they're extremely good. And you're allowed to book up to, I think, 10 hours of your cruise ahead of time, and then you could book more as time goes on. And on our cruise, we didn't have a time going, hey, we want to add this, we want to add that. It was a thing. So we used it particularly we wanted one full night out where we didn't have to worry about like not being like having to do activities with her that were
goodness, that is so cute.
That were family friendly. We enjoyed that. And then we used it to do one of the I think it was the martini tasting. We put her in there for a couple hours, and she had a great time. We were told she was very friendly with the other kids. She had not gone to daycare at that point, but she had friends near her age, so she was used to playing. They have cribs in there for them to nap. They have certain snacks that they provide, but if you have anything specific you want, particularly formula and things like that, you have to provide it. They have plenty of toys. They've got the cribs. They'll change the diapers. They'll change clothes if something happens. You just have to provide all those things. And also with these, with the kids clubs, you kind of have to carry your wave phone with you at all times, which are the phones that are provided, the cell phones that are provided in the room. Because they will text you, but the wave phones, like if like your kid does not stop crying or something happens, it's a lot easier for them to reach you. We were called.
If you don't know what the wave phones are, so they're basically they're very skinny. They're basically really old cell phones where you had to tap the number 3 times to get to the letter C, and that's how you can text messages back and forth and you can call, because your cell phones, you're overseas, so they don't really work very well. And the only thing that you can really use your cell phone for now is the personal navigator. So you should be able to get paper schedules under your door the night before, and now you use your cell phone. So it's very strange. You're kind of taking your cell phone around with you and your wave phone around with you. So you got kind of 2 cell phones.
Actually, now you don't even really technically need the wave phone. The Disney Cruise Line app has a texting feature in it. So you can contact other people on the ship. So the last few ones we've been on, we didn't carry a wave phone. We all just had our cell phones with this app. That's probably only the last 2 now that I think about it. Because I think before that, our parents would have a wave phone and we'd have a wave phone and never answer it and they'd get mad.
And if you are iPhone based, iMessages do work without buying a data plan. So they have partnered that way. So iMessages will work without the data plan. You still have to be connected to their network. Everybody gets 50 megs of free data per person.
Yes.
So you can do that. You just sign up for that, and that hooks your phone up to the system, and that allows you to get those iMessages. They tend to be a little delayed. They're not instant like they would be, but still, they do still recommend you take your Wayphone with you when you drop your kids off at the club. We did get one call because she was a little cranky before a nap, like she appears to about to be. But they just wanted to say, hey, let you know, is it something normal? We said, yeah, it's perfectly normal. That when she's ready to nap, she will start crying a little bit. Give her her pacifier from her bag and put her down, and she'll usually get ready to go to sleep. Or she's fighting it today and eating the buckle on her pacifier.
It's perfect.
And what was this, Ron? Was this the tea party?
Yeah, this was a tea party and the meet and greet with Fancy Nancy. She was a little too young to participate, so she just kind of ran in circles or actually crawled. She was crawling at the time. People were seeing her crawl over the ship and like, oh, she's going to be in the diaper dash, right? Which is one of the other kids only activities, which is, even if you don't have kids, I recommend going to it because it's a baby
hilarious.
race and it's fantastically cute. She was the favorite on the ship, but then when everybody was telling us that, because she was just at the age where she's about ready to get up and walk, but she wasn't quite yet. It was just a couple weeks after we got off, but she was zipping around crawling, but she decided she just wanted to crawl back up my leg when it came time to race.
You don't want to.
That's awesome.
I love baby races.
So, were there any other sorts of? So you participated in a tea party with her, is that right? And I also saw you with some pictures of her with different princesses. So, what is it like walking around with your little one on the cruise? Did you find any particular challenges with her on the ship?
The stroller, I recommend if you have an option for a smaller stroller rather than your full like jogging size stroller, I'd recommend bringing that. We actually said before we were all set to, we were considering one of the cruises out of New York this year. Mm-hmm. Thank you for picking your noisiest toy right now. That we were planning on a cruise this October, one of the New York to the Bahamas things. Obviously, that's off the table at the moment. We were going to get a smaller folding stroller rather than the big one because the elevators are tight. You have to wait for the elevators all the time because there's only I don't know if there's more elevator banks on the larger ships. There's only 3 on the Wonder. And
I think
finding room
like
to put a stroller in, because particularly the fore and aft are very small. The midship are a little bigger.
But everyone wants to ride on those because they're glass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like kids will just ride those up and down.
It's nice.
You pretty much had to get an elevator yourself. Half the time we were going around as a family, the elevator would open and I'm like, all right, Laurel, you take it. I'll take the stairs and meet you there, because we couldn't fit both of us in with whoever else was already in the elevator. So that was a bit of a challenge. Getting through the buffets, which going forward, who knows how that's going to operate. Cabanas, I assume, will exist, but you just won't be serving yourself kind of stuff.
You probably have to tell them what you want and they'll bring it to you.
Yeah. It's a little difficult with the baby in the stroller. So Laurel tended to get up earlier than I did. So when she wanted breakfast, she would always go to the sit-down breakfast rather than Cabanas. So she could take Andy with her there. Other than that, there wasn't really too much of a challenge. Like, there were definitely times we couldn't do activities we wanted because we couldn't just drop. You can't just suddenly decide to go to Small World. You do have to schedule it. I mean, you could probably go up and ask, and there's probably room, but we didn't all the time. As opposed to the other kids' clubs, you can just sign them up and let them go in and out. At a special, I think 8 or 9, they're allowed to check themselves in and out, but it's still a little more informal than the Small World Nursery.
And the Small World, you'd have to pay extra.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
You know, that's different for some people.
I remember when we went, when Shannon was a kid, she didn't want to leave the kids club. Like, she didn't want to come have dinner with us. She's like, but we'd have pizza here. Why would I go with you?
It's very interesting that one of the things that people will say that kind of deter them from wanting to go on a Disney cruise is that there's going to be kids everywhere. They're going to be running around, and you're going to hear them, and they're going to be in the dining room disturbing people. But it is shocking how few kids are that you actually see running around.
Yeah.
You see kids, 100% you do. However, like at least half the time, maybe 75% of the time I've been on a Disney cruise, you almost never see them because they stay in those kids clubs. You can be there from 9 in the morning to midnight, and the kids don't want to leave. They'll stay there the whole time.
On the first day, I always find you're on the ship, you get on the first day where like no one, everyone's just wandering around, and you're like, oh my God, there are so many children. And it's loud, and it seems very crowded because no one's just in their room, like no one's doing activities, they're all just exploring the ship. But then after that first day, there's no children. I mean, you see children sometimes, and children obviously with their families, but like they're in the kids areas, and that's where they want to go. So like then it's fine. Then the hallways aren't crowded, you know, and it's fine. That first day you'll be like, there are so many people here, and like everyone is on the deck for the sail away party, but then you never see all those people again until Pirate Night, I suppose, and then you see all those people. But then,
and dealing with kids Andy's age and the toddler is is probably the most difficult time on the ship because there are fewer activities that aren't the kids clubs. Like Small World is almost it. There's a Disney Junior Rise and Shine thing every morning in the D Lounge, but that was kind of it that's targeted at her age group. And I understand it's a small age group that you're really not paying to have on the boat. You're paying like, I think a quarter of a normal fare or something, like basically a little more than port fees for them. Please take that out of your mouth. But I understand that, but it was, that was it. They have an area in the D Lounge that's kind of cordoned off that you kind of had access to all day with some toys in it. But that was it. The splash area she could go into. Kids with diapers cannot go in any of the pools.
Yeah.
So even if it is a swim diaper, so she was restricted to the splash area, which she likes more than the pools anyway. So that was fine.
They're very cute. The splash areas are adorable.
And so there's the splash areas, there's a family pool, an adult pool, and then like a kid pool, but adults are allowed at the kid pool, but it's a little more restricted. So adults can like also go chill at their own pool if they don't want any kids around.
Yeah. Shannon, do you want to talk a little bit about your experiences with the teen areas? Because when I was there and I was 13, I had like basically just turned 13, and I was just too old to be in the Oceaneers lab. But I had just turned 13 and felt real awkward being in the teen area because everybody else was, I was only a teenager for like 2 weeks, and it felt a little awkward being in those areas.
Well, Shannon, you've done Oceaneer Club, Lab, at like everything, because we went, our first cruise was
I've done every level except the nursery.
Yeah.
So our first cruise, I was 9.
Okay.
But the next, so that was like the 4 to 9 age group, and then the next age group was like 10 to 12. Okay. But I was a month away from turning 10, and it was like I think part of it was like the activities for my age group felt a little bit too young for me, but also I remember I was required, this is what I remember. I was required to wear a wristband. Like if you were under 10, you had to wear a wristband. I don't know if that would be the case anymore. I think now they're like magic bands.
Still
magic
is.
bands.
Yeah, it's a.
But I had to wear like a wristband that you couldn't take off the whole cruise, and I didn't want to do that. I was like, I have to wear it like in the shower, and it was like, yeah, it'll be fine. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So basically, we just like went to the club lab, whatever, because you could go between both, and we're like, hey, she's about to be 10, and can she just be in the upper age group? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. I was probably annoying to all the 12-year-olds, but so yeah, so I mean that was 15, 16 years ago. So I don't remember super well, but I remember like, I mean, I didn't want to leave. That was where all the fun stuff was. I remember making flubber, and that was really gross. I remember really liking the, it was like a kids pool party. Like you could go to the kids pool anytime, but there was a specific like pool party where the people from the club took you, and it was like you really got to know the cast members there in the club. I mean, you didn't get to know them, but like they were like your babysitters basically. So it was like you had a lot of fun with them. I remember one night it was like a sleepover night. I don't think we actually slept in there, but it was like we got to stay in there later. And we had like these 4 main cast members, these 2 girls and these 2 guys, and they like body swapped for the night. It was like they ran into each other, something happened, and then they switched bodies.
Like
and that was very funny. Yeah. And like we were all just, they were in their pajamas. So it was like the guys were in the girls' pajamas and the girls were just in the guys' uniforms.
That's cute.
So that was funny. Yeah, so I mean the Oceaneers Club and the Oceaneers Lab, they're basically the same thing, but they're a lot of fun. So that's great if you have, kids in that age range where it's can be like, they might want to hang out with you, but they might not. You can stick them in there. And yeah, you can just take them there at any time.
And they're very different from when you were a kid, though, because now there's like Avengers stuff and the Millennium Falcon, and
Yeah, I want to go back.
Right? We always go on that first day when you can go, and it's less creepy when you're like our age. I mean, and even younger, and you're like, you don't have kids, but we're like, I'm gonna go down the slinky slide.
Yeah, and there's like a Millennium Falcon. Sissy, do we have more pictures?
Like Colleen was in the RC car.
I don't have pictures of the kid area because Shannon was in it by herself.
But do you have more pictures
of
us as
me
adults?
Sitting in this car?
Okay. Yeah, we don't really have pictures of me as a kid in there.
And this was Ron's picture, but look at how cool that is.
I mean, it's amazing.
Like that's Andy's bed. I do have a picture somewhere I could send you real quick of me in the Millennium Falcon as an adult, because they have like a mini Millennium Falcon on there.
That's amazing.
On the Fantasy, I think.
Yeah, when I was a kid, when I was 13, and that was my
Someone in the chat said if she says one more time, I will scream. Sorry.
Is that me?
The drinking game.
That'll be. I definitely say a lot. I have a lot to think about.
There now I'm doing it. So when I was 13, they didn't have nearly as many activities going on in these kids clubs. So when I first went on a Disney cruise, I was a little bored. But now they have all of these wonderful, you can meet the characters inside the clubs. They'll give you lunch, they'll give you dinner. They'll have all of these like parades, and I think Ron was saying that they organize flash mobs, they organize Lady Gaga dance parties, and then me and my friend Richard were looking at like, I want to join a Lady Gaga dance party. Why can't I do that? But it's only for Edge and Vibe. They have really, really awesome activities.
Yeah,
do you have
even
the-
when I went teen,
I was just
I
gonna say
didn't go to the.
when we went on our first 2 cruises, and I was a teenager, there was no preteen club. There was no edge.
Right.
It was just like you were 13 and you went to Vibe. I don't remember how old
Yeah.
I was. If Shannon was 9, I was like 15.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I don't think the flash mobs weren't in then, but like playing Mafia or like scavenger hunts, you know. But for me, I was very shy. And so it was sort of like, I'm alone and you're expecting me to like, I have to initiate social interaction, not like you're little and they're like, we're gonna play a game. And I didn't like it. So I didn't really go. And the very first cruise we went on, my best friend and her family happened to be there as well. And so she and I would do stuff. Or maybe that was the second.
Yeah.
Cruise. I think that was the first.
I think
cruise.
that was the second. I don't know.
One
I
of the
don't
first
remember
2. We went in
because
2004
I
and
wasn't hanging
2005. They start to blur together. But she was there, so like we just hung out together. And then there was the one where
Yeah.
I was just alone in the teen area, and I was just not really into it. So like, I did stuff with my parents more, because I was like, I don't want to meet people.
Yeah, I think there was like one where I was like a teen and could go to the teen area. No, there must have been 2. And I remember like going and hanging out in there a couple times, but it was like you're more just expected to hang out and talk to people and like play video games. There weren't as many planned activities for teens. I remember one cruise just I spent like most of the time that you guys were off doing adult stuff, like reading books. I would just sit in one of the porthole windows on the ship and read. Like that was fine by me. Or I'd go watch a movie because they have movie theaters on the ships. I didn't really, I wasn't as into the teen stuff. The kid stuff, awesome. Teen stuff is like, okay. I mean, also teens are like, whatever.
I think by the time we got to the 3rd cruise, which I don't
So on the
I wasn't
cruise,
18 yet. We were still in high school.
the 3rd cruise, we also went over Christmas.
Yeah.
So there were Christmas activities.
But I think at that
And I
point,
think we
Shannon
all
and I
hung out
did
together.
stuff together more.
Yeah.
And definitely.
I think it was the cruise after that where you were like doing adult stuff.
Yeah, by cruise 4, I was
hung out
18,
by
19, and so I went to like the adult areas. But during the day, a lot of the time it was me and Shannon.
Yeah.
And then by the time the next cruise, we went on a cruise for Shannon's 18th birthday.
Ooh.
And so then even before she turned 18, we took her to the adult club. We're like, no one's going to stop us.
Yeah. We were like, if people stop us, I'll be like, I turn 18 in a day. Like,
Yeah. And I think we've
I think we even told like the MC there that I wasn't 18 yet. And he was just like, ooh, shh.
Yeah. He was a wonderful gay man. He was super entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think actually as like a family, we've had more fun as like all adults.
Yeah.
Even if we're
Like,
not doing
it's-
everything together.
It's hard to compare like when I was a kid to versus when I was an adult because I don't really remember being a kid as much. But those 2 cruises in the middle, I definitely were like, not that they were bad, they were still Disney cruises, but I definitely think the last one I went on where I turned 18, like that was way
It's the
more fun than the
second to
2
last.
before.
Oh, you didn't turn 18 on the last. That was 5.
Yes. Yes, the second to last one.
Yeah.
The second to last one and the last one were the last one is like a whole other thing because it was Star Wars. Like it's a whole other kind of cruise.
Nice.
We went like the day we boarded the cruise ship on the last one was the day The Force Awakens came out.
Shannon, what about
What?
this?
Oh yeah, so that was like
Yes.
the first cruise, I believe.
Yeah.
And
No,
when-
this is number 2.
Okay, well, I think it happened on both of the
Probably.
first 2 cruises. But we, like, all the kids, wow, did a little graduation ceremony at the end for, like, finishing the cruise. I don't know what the conceit was. Because it was like, I don't know, we finished our Oceaneers Club, so we did a little graduation. We all got these hats. I actually have I mean, these weren't necessarily related to the graduation, but I have all these like cruise coins still. I don't remember why, but cut back to me. So, just all these coins that say Disney Cruise Line, and on the other side says Club Oceaneers Lab. And I have 2 that are red. I don't know why. Oh, these say more than a Mickey Mania game show. I don't know what that was, but that's cool.
Oh.
So yeah, I got all these things.
It was like they have these game shows, and they're pretty much all family friendly. And I know that there are some where they have it specifically for the kids in the lab and the club, that they'll have kind of like the kids that you see elsewhere in the ship. I'm curious if Colleen has an image of the personal navigator.
Oh yeah,
that we could take a look at the list of all of the different activities. It's a little hard to see, but you can kind of see.
There's a lot of activity.
Just big chunks of activities. So basically, what you would get is this slip of paper.
So this is one day for people who can't see very well.
This is one day. And this is actually a very recent one, February. Is this Ron's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So you can see.
So this is a day at sea, it says at the top.
Yeah, so if this is a day at sea, you're going to get a lot more activities throughout the day. If it docks at Castaway Cay or Nassau, for example, during that chunk of time when it is docked at the port, you're going to see far fewer activities. You will still see some.
There's always a movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, they always play the most recent, 3 or 4 Disney movies that are in theaters.
And
you don't have to pay extra to see the movies. Yes. So on our last cruise, we saw Force Awakens. It was a Force Awakens premiere.
Yeah, I saw Frozen.
That's actually the shirt I'm wearing.
Theaters. So they have this whole list, and you just kind of take a look, and it'll say what's in the Oceaneers Lab, what's in the Oceaneers Club, what's in Vibe, what is for adults only, what are the character greetings for the day, and you can plan all of that out, and you can see how it says for fun for all ages, for adults, and they're in 15 block increments. The characters only appear about a half hour at a time. They kind of go away, so those are pretty quick.
And the character meet and greets
quick too.
Most character meet and greets are not just for kids. They will be in the atrium of the ship. Anyone can go, and sometimes you'll see characters just wandering around. Not part of the schedule, either because it's less of a busy day or something. Maybe it's a port day and they were just there's more people on the ship, send out a character.
We met Captain Hook outside one time.
Yeah.
He's just there.
Yeah, Spider-Man was never on the schedule, and I pretty much almost ran him over coming around a corner. Totally just shoulder bump Spider-Man unintentionally.
It's way different from being in the parks. You feel much more like you could just run into a character at any time. And because you're staying there, and it's like if you were staying in Magic Kingdom while also going to Magic Kingdom.
One thing I learned with Andy is the friends of the characters are usually the same friends all the time. So all of the minis in different outfits that we took Andy to meet was definitely the same friend, and they recognized Andy all the time. Tiana definitely was, the picture we showed earlier was the day after we had dinner at Tiana's, and she came to meet her, and she was a little sleepy that night, and the next day we brought her to meet her, and she says, "You're awake, I get to play with you." And they definitely remember you a lot more. And then also we're fighting over her. I want the warm hugs. No, I want the warm hugs.
I mean, she's adorable.
And they'll be the same friends in the stage shows that they do, because there's only limited people on board.
Well, Cinderella's friend and Cinderella the performer are not the same.
Yeah.
It depends.
Sometimes, but not normally, because friends have to look specific way.
Yeah.
There's a like look they must conform to. Whereas if you're on stage and no one's that close to you, it's really more important that you can sing the songs and dance at the same time while the ship is moving. But the friends are the performers, and the character attendants are the performers. So like you might go to meet Minnie, and Prince Charming is her character attendant.
You're like,
Yes, I've seen that.
Now, so that's something, if you're an adult and you don't like the magic to be ruined like that, you may notice that. You may go to the adult beach at Castaway Cay and be like, is that Aladdin?
Yeah.
Guys, I think that's Aladdin.
Yeah.
Because, like, also, they get, 1 day off per cruise, basically. And so you might just see them wandering around as a regular person.
On the
Like,
last
it's pretty
cruise
sick.
Mom and I went on, we saw the Cinderella musical and they did Rapunzel, and the prince and Flynn Rider were the same actor. Like, he was obviously the nice looking tall white man. And then when they did Dream, he was in the Circle of Life song. And we're just staring at him because it's like, he's really kind of iconic looking now. Because even in like the opening day show where they'll do lots of clips from like, this is what's coming up, you saw him a lot. So you'd seen him for 3 days playing princes, and then he was suddenly in Circle of Life.
Just
and
in
you
the
were
background.
like, I don't buy it. I'm just staring at him.
Yeah.
He's very tall.
And on the flip side of that, I'll say for people who aren't familiar with the cruise line as opposed to going to the parks is you really do develop personal relationships with so many cast members and crew members. I don't know which ones were it.
Especially like your waiters.
So your servers travel with you. So the way dining works, like you could go eat
And
at
this
the
is the
buffet,
same on other cruises.
but not all, because Norwegian's not like
Not
this.
all.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 main restaurants, and you rotate for dinner. There's 2
You're
different.
assigned, like,
You
will be at this
start
restaurant this
at
night.
Animator's Palette, and then you will go to Lumiere's, and then you will go to Rapunzel's Royal Table, and then you will go back. But your servers are the same. You have a drink server and like your main server, and they move with you. So like
so they
after
get
a
to
couple
know
days,
you.
like if you always order the same drink, you get to your table, they just have that for you.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
They know.
It's so nice. They're great.
They'll start to know like your food preferences. The last cruise I went on, my cousin Diane is like deathly allergic to peanuts. And so they were great, like figuring out what can Diane eat, what do we need to replace for her. They'd get her the menu for the next night so she could check it to be like, this is what I want to have for tomorrow, so that they'd be prepared. And they'll do almost
that's
anything for you. Like, if you're like, I don't want sweet potatoes, can I have mashed potatoes? They'll be like, yeah.
If you want to order
And that's
entrees, you can order 2
included.
entrees.
Yeah, that's all included.
And that's
just
included
part
in
of
your price. The only time you have to pay extra for like food is if you go to one of the sit-down restaurants during the day, and then you have to pay extra for alcohol.
Well, no, if you just go have lunch at Lumiere's, you don't have to pay extra.
Yeah, that's included.
Okay, I guess
Alcohol costs money.
I don't remember because I don't pay for
That's
things.
true. On the smaller ships, it's Paolo's, and on the bigger ships, it's Remy's. That's the fancy restaurant that costs money to go to. We had
Maybe that's just what I was thinking of.
brunch there one time.
Yeah.
My parents had gone to eat there, but like we as a family went and had brunch once.
Yeah.
We were kind of like,
so then there's
I can go eat at the other restaurants. What do I want to pay for?
and so then there's buffets and there's like quick service restaurants like next to the pools.
You can get pizza.
If you don't want to go sit down
top
for
deck.
lunch, breakfast.
They have like there was, I forgot which ship it was. I think it was one of the newer ones where they were all themed to different characters from the movie Cars. So they had like the window that had like the natural stuff and the healthy stuff, and then they had the window that had just like pizza, and they had the one that had like sandwiches,
fantasy.
Flo's Cafe.
Yeah, I think that's the fantasy.
Sorry, I got a work text as you were talking. The things that cost extra are the fancy restaurants on the ships, coffees at the Cove,
Right.
smoothies, and if you are going on the bigger ships, there's also the candy shops that have specific ice creams that cost extra. Vanellope's, and the other one has another name I forgot. But they those, and you can have those delivered as special the desserts as well if you want to, or like you could order the super duper, like the equivalent of like the kitchen sink sundae, and you could have that delivered as your dessert at your meal. I don't know why anyone would do that. Oh, and snacks at the movie theaters that are packaged, and packaged sodas at the movie theaters,
And like popcorn.
as well as, and the popcorn, as well as certain stuff on the, including sodas on the room service menu.
Yes.
But if you are not looking to pay for food, you don't have to. The only thing we bought was coffee and alcohol. And there's free coffee, but I wanted a latte. So
Yeah, we
those are
pretty
the
much,
only things.
we'll pay for alcohol. I think on the last cruise, there was one night going to the theater where I was like, I want popcorn. Oh, and
so
I wanted
I mean,
a Rapunzel cup.
if you wanna go on a Disney cruise and only spend money for, you know, the cruise and not spend any money on the ship, like you can do that. Like obviously there's stores to buy stuff, but if you don't want to buy stuff, you don't have to. Like,
that's one of the things that deters people, that the people will look at the price of the Disney cruise and they look at it and they're like, oh my, this is very expensive. I could go on a princess cruise for $800 or $900 and then I'm on a cruise. However, if you're going to go on a princess cruise, you're going to be in the same dining room the whole time. You're not going to get any sort of rotational dining. All of these other restaurants that like you'll get, you know, like these 3 are included, but then there's like 5 that are, you know, you pay extra for, but then if you want the included restaurants, you're waiting in long lines for those. You have to pay, they constantly nickel and dime you for all of these like shows and activities and entertainment, and different types of beverages. So if you want the same experience on a different cruise ship to a Disney cruise, and you're going to be paying almost the same exact price for a Disney and a non-Disney cruise if you want to get the same exact experience. But if you don't want to pay for any of it, then you can go for the cheaper cruise, but you're going to get super bare bones stuff. With Disney, it's more expensive, but like you don't have to, like everything's included. You don't have to pay for anything else.
Disney's very into like you don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
They don't want you to worry about it.
The upcharges seem to be less than the other cruises. Like I was looking at alcohol prices. Like I'm not going to say alcohol is cheap on the Disney cruise, but it's cheaper than me going to a bar here in Boston. Like the equivalent drink is definitely, and the beers are cheaper on the ship than they are locally in most major cities, I'd say. And compare that to other cruise lines, they're definitely cheaper. The other cruise lines offer all-inclusive drink packages, which Disney does not.
Disney, I think, does a wine package.
They do.
You could order
stuff. Yeah.
You could order wine deliveries for dinner and packages like that, but you can't just have I'm going to go get wine unlimited.
Or like on Norwegian, you can get like a bucket of beers.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, Disney has things like that, but they don't have I'm going to pay $50 a day and I could drink whatever I want. They don't have that. And those are almost never good values unless you drink a lot on those ships. And Disney includes the sodas. Disney.
Fun fact: Disney did not always include soda.
That is true.
On the first 2 cruises we went on, soda was not included.
I think it might have just been the first one that we went on. But I don't know. I was
but
a child.
we
I
got
didn't care.
free sodas because we were AAA members. So we had like a sticker on our card that said we could get soda for free. But soda technically cost money, but they stopped because that was stupid.
Yeah, so you can get soda now at the soda, serve yourself soda on the top deck.
Yeah.
And you can order it in the restaurants. If you get a can of soda, they're going to charge you for it, a bottle of soda. But it used to be that if you were dining in the dining room and you wanted a glass of soda, that was not included. So I remember just drinking water and like fresh brewed iced tea, and like that was it. Otherwise, I'd have to pay for it. So it's not. It didn't always exist. I remember at least my first 2, maybe 3 cruises where we did not get sodas.
Yeah.
So one thing, we were talking about different activities, and Ron mentioned D Lounge. D Lounge is like the family club. So there's the kids areas, there's adults areas. This is like the family club, and they'll do like game shows and stuff. So Allison, you had a picture.
Yeah, so it was kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but it was Who Wants to Be a Mouseketeer. And I don't know if they still have this. They
do.
I don't remember, but
Okay.
they used to be where if you could win an actual grand prize, and your prize was like a round trip to like New York to see Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in person. I think the prizes were similar to the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire play that they used to have at studios as well.
Oh.
And I never got picked, darn it, to be on Who Wants to Be a Mouseketeer. But they give you like, special pins, keychains, t-shirts, that kind of typical stuff.
My dad and I played, I don't know what we're playing. I'm in the goofy hat. But we were picked. We're playing some trivia game.
You're both in goofy hats.
Yeah,
I think they gave you were the goofy
We
team.
were the goofy team. Obviously, it's the Pluto team next to us. I think that might have been one of the very few times we didn't do stuff in D Lounge super often. But yeah, you can play there's lots of game showy things and activities to do as a family.
And then just in other areas throughout the cruise, they'll have like trivia. I always do the trivia things. I remember doing like a trivia game by myself one cruise, and I won.
Oh, yeah.
And that's usually just like one crew member is leading it, and you're just writing down your answers. There's a trivia. Oh, I was spelling supercalifragilisticexpialidocious in that one.
Yeah,
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. I remember there was one, like my second or third cruise, there was just kids bingo, and for some reason I was winning like every round of bingo. All the other kids were mad at me. I'm like, sorry, but they had the physical prizes. I got a Lizzie McGuire book. I remember that.
Nice.
It's just random stuff.
I have a picture.
So yeah,
of
they'll have
trivia sheet too somewhere. I think I gave you, Colleen, to see.
Yeah, they'll have activities throughout the week and during the day. And so like that last picture you showed was trivia that was in one of the like adult areas, but it was during the day, so kids could go in, because I wasn't 18 during that one. I don't think. Maybe I was.
And the competition on those trivia is intense. Like the 2 I managed to go to, we got 44 out of 45. We did not win. We got 19 out of 20. We did not win. They are super intense, a lot of them.
And sometimes they'll just be general trivia, or it'll be a specific kind
they'll
of
have
trivia.
different themes. We've definitely won once.
I think we won that one that we were in the like Irish bar,
I don't
the
remember.
pub.
I have random stuff that says Disney Cruise Line on it that we did not buy. Like keychains and sunglass cases and notebooks.
Luggage
and those are the
bags,
kind of thing you win at trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't care about the prize. I just want to prove that I am more of a Disney fan.
They had I don't think they have them anymore, but they at least used to have these like ribbons with little medals on them.
Those are the main prize still.
Do they still give them?
The medals are the main prize you get. You get like a hat and a medal usually if you win, but like
depend on the trivia.
Yeah.
people fight over those medals.
And I wanted to get those so bad. So it would say winner, and I would walk around. It was like the Mickey head was big. It was like that big or something like that. There's one of my trivia papers. So that one was, I think it was Disney Villains trivia. And I won. You can see the little prize. You get a little keychain. So that was my prize. And
people will argue with the cast member about their answers.
They will, yeah.
I know because I've been one of those people.
Didn't we?
That's not correct. Hold on.
Didn't we
I
argue
definitely
about
argue.
like the color of Pongo and Perdita's collars one time?
I remember that, and I remember. Yeah, but they like had them switched or something.
Yeah, they had it wrong, and we were like, no.
No. And I remember, this wasn't really arguing, but I remember one time a question was like, name 2 Disney characters with the same name. And they had like a certain 2 pairs written down, but then people were coming up with other things. And they were like, that's not what I have written down. And we're like, that's right, though. Like,
I took that trivia quiz because I remember that question because I got every single question on that one except that one, and the answer I put was Jack because you have Jack Skellington and Jack Sparrow, and you also have Jack, but they marked it as wrong because they said on their paper the answer is Chip. But I'm like, hold on a second.
Chip.
But yeah, the trivia contests are there. Some of them are like, if you're like on our Disney fandom level, you have a pretty good chance of winning. However, there are ones where you're like, who knows this? This is really, really challenging.
And you can't just Google because you're on a cruise ship.
No way to look
Yeah.
at it.
Put your phones away. Also, they're probably not going to work very well, even if.
Yeah.
They but there is the non-Disney trivia, which I remember there was a sports trivia. There was a Super Bowl trivia, but I was on the Super Bowl cruise. I don't think that's normal. There's decades music trivia, basically, and movie trivias that are not Disney specific that go usually from the 60s through the 2000s. We did a brain teasers trivia, which was really difficult. That was one nobody got anywhere near perfect on. And there was not a parks trivia, which I was just on our cruise, which I was a little disappointed because I feel if I lose a parks trivia, something's wrong. I
definitely did a parks trivia.
Yeah.
Our local bar did a parks trivia, and I went to argue with the guy, and he's like, okay, you seem to know more than I do. I got my stuff off the Diz board, so I'm going to go with your answers.
That's amazing.
We're going to have a quick commercial break. People can take like a water break and stuff. And we'll be back in a couple minutes, guys.
Sounds good.
So we'll be
See
back.
you in a little bit.
Join the WDWNT Inner Globe Society on Patreon. Become a WIGS member. For as little as $2 a month, you can get access to exclusive post shows, exclusive content. You can register early for events if we do those again. And exciting stuff. You can register for games first. Yeah. WIGS is good. If you don't want to join WIGS, you can use the super chat on YouTube. And we appreciate your money.
From the people who brought you WDWNT Does Epcot comes an album of your favorite podcasters singing songs about Disney's new transportation system. It's WDWNT Does the Disney Skyliner. There's magic in the air for this 7-disc collection where you'll find favorites such as It's Getting Hot in Here by Patrick Hackett.
It's getting hot in here.
So hot.
So open up those vents. Skyliner getting so hot. I'm gonna open air vents. It's getting hot in here.
So hot.
Look at my sweaty ears. Skyliner's getting so hot. Smells like innovations.
Come Fry With Me, performed by Tom Gorlin.
Come fry with me, we'll melt down to Batu. In Toy Story Land, there's a Green Army band, and they'll play in the sun for you. Come fry with me, let's fry away.
I Can See Clearly Now by Tyler Mann.
I can see clearly now, the decal's gone. I can see all the buildings go away green. Gonna be a bright vlog video.
Skyway to Hell from TCMZ. Don't need buses, don't need boats. Ain't nothing I would rather do. Going down, hope this floats. Riviera's gonna be there soon. I'm on the skyway to hell. On the skyway to hell. Skyway to hell. I'm on the skyway to hell. No stop signs, speed limit. Nobody's gonna slow this down. Maybe lightning, that might stop it. Nobody's bringing these lines down. Hey, shaping, paying my dues. Writing on a fanside blog. Hey, mama, look at me. I'm on my way to Toy Story Land. I'm on the skyway to hell. Skyway to hell. I'm on the skyway to hell. Skyway to hell. Hope I don't get stuck. Oh, it's hot. And many, many more. To get your copy of WDWNT Does the Disney Skyliner, just send a check or money order for $50 less than a Disney After Hours ticket to G-Force Records, 708 Back Alleyway, New York, 2007, and we'll fly your copy directly to you. Order now.
With the success of Pizza Rizzo and the Regal Eagle Smokehouse, we here at Walt Disney Imagineering have learned that our guests love bad counter service food with minimal Muppets theming. So, here comes more Muppet eateries at Disney parks. Yay! At Disney's Hollywood Studios, grab a wrapped sausage at Rolf's Roasters. Rolf has relocated to the edge of the galaxy to pick up piano-playing gigs at Oga's, but the money hasn't been great, so Rolf the dog has started slinging dogs at Black Spire Outpost's hottest new wiener joint. If you're visiting Epcot in 2022, get ready for a lightly rethemed dining experience that somehow took us 2 years to complete. It's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Umbrella. Can you just picture that? Imagine eating a dry flatbread to saying goodbye while you sit there and think about all of your favorite things we've ripped out of this park. Are you excited? Well, we won't take no for an answer. Then, head on over to Disney Springs for a trio of Muppets eateries. Grab some barbecue at the Miss Polite Piggy, some affordable chicken tenders from Chicken Gonzo's, and stop by the West Side for Pepe by Pepe. And no, not Jose Andres.
Come have a sandwich, okay?
And at Disney's Animal Kingdom, our most popular concept is getting a second home. Be sure to visit Pizzafari after we finish converting it into Pizza Rizzo 2.
They're tourists. They don't know good pizza.
The Muppets. We won't do anything new with them, but let's plaster their images in the background of restaurants.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Ron's gone? Oh, Ron's
There
No,
he is.
just forgot my camera back on.
All right. Very cool. Well, welcome back. I believe next on our agenda is...
Hold on. Shorn Force said in the chat, Pizza Rizzo 2, The Rats of Con.
Ah, that's... I like that a lot.
That's good.
But we were going to talk about our experiences on the cruises during various holidays and special occasions. And I know that that Colleen and Shannon have a lot of pictures of themselves
Yes.
Doing all sorts of things.
I know I sent in a few pictures of myself too. I have done a Halloween cruise, I believe twice. I've done a Christmas cruise once, maybe twice. Oh, there I am. So, one of the things that you can do during the Halloween cruise is a costume contest. So, here I am as the magic carpet from Aladdin.
Excellent.
And they have different categories where it's like best, most, best Disney costume, best group costume, things like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm still bitter about it. I did not win.
That's a good costume, though.
I was beat by somebody that was dressed like a jellyfish. And I'll tell you right now, their costume was not as good as mine. They had like a clear umbrella with like some streamers hanging down, and they had like a white dress and some like iridescent kind of glasses, and they were a jellyfish, and they beat me. So still bitter about it. That costume as a magic carpet, I think, blows any other costumes that I saw out of the water. There I am. This is the Christmas cruises. That is December of 2019, so that's my most recent cruise. That is in the big like lobby atrium area. They have big, beautiful Christmas trees out there. They also have not just the inside of the cruise ship decorated for Christmas. They have the port. So this is on one of the pillars before you get on the ship while you're waiting and registering and such. So that was really cute. And there is Castaway Cay, so that's also decorated for Christmas. So that's my husband Lucas, and we brought one of our plush summer-themed Baymaxes with us, of course. So they have a lot of very cute, very fun Christmas activities. They also have a gingerbread house in the atrium. They have, you can decorate Christmas ornaments, Christmas cards. They have Santa meet and greets, very cute, lovely Christmas themed music playing around. So that was very lovely. We didn't go on Christmas Day. It was early December. I think it was December 2nd through the 5th. So you don't necessarily have to be on the cruise during the actual holiday for it to be themed for that holiday. So
yeah,
Christmas theming starts in November.
Yeah,
it's just like the parties at Magic Kingdom. And it's just,
so it's very, very similar. And I know that you said you went on Thanksgiving and a few other holidays. Is that right, Colleen?
So we went actually over Christmas. So we were on the ship Christmas Day.
Yes. And then the last one that we went on as a family, the last one we went on as a family, it ended the 23rd. So we've basically been on 2 Christmas ones.
So there we are with Santa Goofy. This is the cruise where I had a broken foot.
Yes.
And I could walk, but I also had a wheelchair.
And apparently I wore heels at least twice.
So on Christmas Day, here's, there's like a little desk, and we set up stockings, and our parents didn't bring all the presents. They brought some of the presents.
Now here's what I'll say, as people who get really into holidays and people who love the Disney cruise, we did kind of on Christmas on the cruise be like, oh, it's not like Christmas at home.
Yeah, we decided we wouldn't want to do it on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Like it's fun to go at Christmas time. There's lots of fun Christmas things, but like opening presents in this small stateroom and not everything, because they couldn't bring everything with. And then you're kind of like, what do I do? I mean, there is stuff to do, but you were like, I don't know, what are we supposed to do?
And we're people who on Christmas will just like sit around and watch movies. Yeah. If you're a family that on Christmas goes places and likes to travel on Christmas, might be a different experience for you.
But so when we got back,
for us, it was like,
we did we woke up and we were in our pajamas and opened presents under the tree, and that felt much
and we
more
still act like
Christmas-like.
children on Christmas. So. And our parents still act like we're children on Christmas.
They
and
act
like, Santa's not ready yet.
Yeah, a couple years ago, they're yelling up at us, don't come down, Santa's not ready yet. And we're like, it's 9 in the morning and we're adults, so I don't know why.
And we
you
just
were
hear
up.
crashing, and it was
Yeah,
like...
they broke stuff. We're like sitting at the top of the stairs, like, what are they doing? So like we met Santa Goofy. I have some other pictures.
That's cute.
Here's on the island, his Sandmen.
Right.
That's by that big
Oh,
Christmas
cute.
tree that Allison showed.
Yeah, so our last one was also Christmas, but Star Wars was more the priority, so I don't even think of it as a Christmas cruise.
So this was like, there's a giant gingerbread house in the atrium. Here we are, like, so, you know, the characters have special Christmas outfits. And
so our first, both of our Christmas cruises were on the Magic.
Yeah. So then when I went in November, we were there the week of Thanksgiving, but the only Thanksgiving-y thing that happened was there was turkey on Thanksgiving Day. Other than that, it was all Christmas themed. So like here I am with my mom. Here we are meeting Daisy in her Christmas outfit.
We need to go on a Halloween one.
I know, I'd love to go on a Halloween one. It just never happened.
I guess for your birthday we can do one.
I'm up for it, Shannon. I'm up for it.
Because we did my birthday, so I guess it's your turn. We did Dad's birthday too. That was our first cruise.
Oh, was it? I don't even know. That wasn't important, obviously.
Yeah,
so,
our first cruise was June 5th to 11th, and Dad's birthday was June 9th. I was looking through the pictures recently, and I saw there was like a happy birthday sign in our room when we got there and stuff. That might have also been the case for my birthday. I don't remember.
Yeah, so we'd been on there on Christmas, and so then the last cruise I went on, we were there over Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was the last day. And really, other than, I think on Thanksgiving, Mickey and Minnie were dressed like pilgrims. Actually, no, I don't think they were. They were still in just Christmas outfits. And on Thanksgiving Day, there was like a turkey meal at dinner, and that was really it. Everything
but there's
was
probably
just,
a lot of international people on Disney cruises.
So it was everything was just still Christmas. The turkey wasn't great. There was a pumpkin pie cocktail, and that was fantastic. And I had like 2 of those. So that was cool. So Christmas. Our parents went on a Halloween one. That's when they went without us, and we're like, we left our children, our adult children. We didn't pay to bring
But
them.
you did not go on that cruise because of Thanksgiving.
I didn't. I went on that cruise. My cousin got married on the ship. So they got married on the back of the ship, behind Paolo's. So it was a very small group. There was 11 of us. It was, my cousin Diane, the bride, the groom. The groom brought, his best friend. And then the really tall guy is my cousin Ben, Diane's brother. He's like 16 and he's like 6'5". And then one of the bridesmaids is the groom's sister. And then Diane brought her best friend. So it was like the best friends, siblings, parents. My mom and I were the only non-wedding party people to come. I think because we were the only people who were like, yeah, we'll pay for that.
Yeah.
Because Mom and I were like,
paid for it.
Go on a cruise,
I wouldn't have paid for it.
What?
But I would have gone on it if Mom and Dad had paid for it and I didn't have to work a job that works holidays.
Yeah. So they got married. So it was a very windy day. The captain performs the ceremony. So legally, you actually have to get married beforehand. So they had a little party and signed the wedding certificate in October. But then did the big wedding on the ship. The captain performs the ceremony. He slowed the boat down so it would be less windy.
Ooh.
He had a really nice, speech that he gave. And we were just out in the back, and it was, it was really nice. And Diane said, it was really easy. They just kind of supplied their clothes. She went to the spa to get her hair and makeup done. Disney wedding packages include all the flowers and everything. And so then normally the reception would have happened out there. But because it was so windy, we actually got to have the reception in Paolo's. So it wasn't dinner or anything. It was just they did their first dance. And we did the cake.
Oh, pretty.
Their cake was really cute. Cruise ship
That's
theme.
nice. I love it.
We did toasts. And then they did an hour of like photos by themselves, and it was like, okay, we're all gonna meet by the Christmas tree. So that's Paolo's, in case you're wondering. And so there was a keyboardist who played, during the ceremony and played. They just did like their dance and like father-daughter dance, mother-son dance, and I think like one like sibling dance. That was my idea.
That's cute.
What about that a sibling?
Very nice. Oh.
I really like this
that.
picture too. But that's really cool.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Oh, neat.
All the ships have statues in the atrium of like
A specific
Mickey
statue.
or, Ariel, different things like that. So there they are there. There's a piano in the atrium. So then there's always a giant Christmas tree at Christmas time.
Look at that one.
So, and like it's huge. There used to be a staircase there. There's
They
a
needed to make
wedding
room.
party.
Gosh, Ben is so tall.
He's so tall.
Wow.
And so then
He's always been tall,
yeah,
too.
this is all of us. So it was really, it was cool. Like, I had buttons made. You can see the button on my mom. So like one of my wedding gifts for them was I had buttons made that was like, we're celebrating Diane and Ryan. And I asked them what their favorite Disney couple was, and they said Beauty and the Beast. So theirs had Belle and like the prince, and then ours had Beauty and the Beast, and they all said like we're celebrating, and theirs said like bride and groom. And they were really excited about buttons because buttons are great.
You really had to wear the
Diane
most
said that, like,
standout dress other than the bride.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, kind of because I'm the only person that like wasn't in a specific like outfit. Like, they had their attendants and their parents basically, and the attendants were in like dark blue, and parents a lot of times in my experience dress similarly to what the color scheme of the wedding is. My mom just likes blue, so she's obviously in blue, and then I was in yellow, so I very much stood out, and I'm the second tallest human there after Ben, who's 6'5". But it was really cool, and Diane said that like it was really easy. They were the only wedding on the ship, and so there was like two, wedding planners who I think were just dedicated to Diane and Ryan the whole time. And I think because they were the only wedding on the ship, they got like more attention. Like they just show up at their room and be like, "We brought you Rice Krispies. Here, go to the rainforest room, which is the steam room," and and so they did do a night. The night of the wedding, they ate with all of us. We all ate together. And then the next night, they went to Paolo's. Diane did have like a second dress that she wore to dinner. And then, so tying into that, one of my favorite things on the cruise is often it's on the first night, but this time I think it wasn't. It was like the second or third night. It was whatever. It was the day after they got married. They play Match Your Mate. So it's like the newlywed game in the adult area. So they'll pick...
Best game.
They will pick the couple who's been together the shortest amount of time, couple who's been together the longest amount of time, and then in the middle they'll be like, we want a crazy couple. So couples who'll do something weird, like do a weird dance or whatever. So I was like, Diane and Ryan,
find a way to go up.
You have to play this. Because literally it is impossible for anyone to be married less time than you. So like they raised their hands and it was like, how long have you been married? And they're like 30 hours. And the host, there's always a host of like the adult nightclub, and he's always great. He's like the best part usually. He was Tony from Spain. He'd be like, hashtag Tony from Spain. He was like, did you get what? Did you get married on the boat? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, well, I wasn't invited, so sit down. And we were like, what? But so then they went up. They played, so here they are in like the special chairs.
Oh, how cute.
They lost. The couple who's been married the shortest amount of time always loses because they have the least interesting answers.
Yeah, if you want to go to Match Your Mate, just know that, like, if your parents are going to play, then you're going to learn more about your parents than you want to.
So, say you were 19.
But then you get free champagne at the end.
So say you're 19, and it's your first cruise as an adult, and your sister's off somewhere, and you go to the adult club with your parents, and then it's Match Your Mate. And not only do they play Match Your Mate, they're the crazy couple.
Yeah, they're not the been together the longest. No.
No, they're just nuts. They won.
They've won multiple times.
They have, but Shannon, I'm not there yet. So they won. So at some point they'll be like, "Who are you here with?" And they're really excited, and they're like, "Our daughter." So throughout the game, like, and they're asking, adult questions. They'll make them like as Disney-esque as possible, but like they're asking adult questions.
Adult.
And when it'd be something really embarrassing, he'd like turn and be like, "I'm so sorry." And they kept shining like a light on me. And so then they won champagne and like tickets to the steam room. I wasn't old enough to have champagne, so I couldn't have champagne. It was hilarious. My parents are very funny.
Yes, DC Studios, inappropriate stuff.
Inappropriate stuff.
They call it making the magic, I believe, was the euphemism.
I guess so. Then I don't have a picture from so the 5th cruise we went on. I don't have a picture of them playing. They again played. This time they were the couple who'd been together the longest. They again won. Here we are with the champagne.
So that was my 18th birthday cruise.
Yeah.
But they played another time and didn't win, I believe.
I think that was when they went themselves.
Yeah.
But yes, it's very funny. I say, anyone, you should go watch this. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
We've been watching my parents.
We'll be like, oh, we learned too much about our parents, but they are funny, so.
It was very funny. They answered, it was really inappropriate, but like, it was hilarious. I tried to get my husband to do it. He's shy. He was like, no.
I tried to get
You tried though.
In December, and he's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
I think Geyser's into it, unless you're my dad. They'll play this game. I'll just like, so like we're kind of talking about the adult area now. Like so we usually have the second dinner seating. So we'd go see like the musical, we'd go to dinner, and we would go to the adult area because there'd be like a show and they'd play games and stuff.
Yeah.
So there was like a weird like scavenger hunt game where it'd be like you need to like find lipstick, you need to find whatever, and so like we played that again as a family. Here's my husband.
Huh.
I don't think I was ever supposed to show this picture, but it was like a man needs to come up with lipstick, a bra, and a purse. I played this when I was like 19, and I was playing with the young adult group, which is like 18 to 21, and it was like, you need to come up with a bra, and suddenly my parents had appeared behind me, and my mom goes, take your bra off, and it was kind of like, you're the weirdest parents in the world. And I did. And that's something we didn't mention before. There is now, it wasn't called this when I did it, but 1821 is the, you're an adult, but like you can't drink yet. Group.
So they have a few, there's not a special area.
No. They meet,
but
when
they'll
I
have
did
events
it, they meet in the bar, and the bartender is their counselor. And honestly, it came off to me as you've put us all together and given us a counselor because you know that we're going to try to find a way to drink. And at least there's like an adult with us. Because like we watched the fireworks together in a hot tub one night, and like there were 2 guys who were 21, and they just went and got drinks, and we all drank them in the hot tub, and the counselor was with us. And I think it really was just like, I'm making sure you don't fall over the boat.
It's important.
But I only did that one time, and I think I did a couple things with them, and mostly I hung out with, my parents and my family and stuff.
Yeah, we actually kind of like our family, so we hang out with them.
We mentioned, we went for Shannon's birthday, so like we did.
Oh, cute.
And
so they put up that side.
Yeah.
Disney did.
And we got
provide
her,
you with
and
some
she
decorations.
got a birthday cake at dinner.
Yeah.
Cute. Very cute.
My only
like the
demand
Mickey
was that I
sprinkles.
meet Peter Pan on my birthday, and I did that.
I don't actually think I have that picture, Shannon.
That's fine. I showed it on the staff memories show, but I was like, I gotta meet Peter Pan, and I'm like, Peter, it's my 18th birthday. I'm supposed to be an adult now.
Yeah, it's my 18th birthday. We came on a
He was
cruise.
like,
I'm
no.
wearing mini ears, and I wanted to meet Peter Pan. So it's really, I mean, Shannon had a good time for her birthday. Diane's wedding was beautiful. It was really fun to go. They made matching shirts. We all wore matching shirts the first day. We're celebrating this wedding. We've gone at Christmas time. I guess I've now gone 3 times. And it's nice. Although I would say, I think if you go at Christmas time, you should also go not at Christmas time because you want to see, what the ship looks like without being covered in garland and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we always enjoyed, holidays and the wedding, Shannon's birthday. I think on the last cruise Shannon was on, we celebrated Ben's birthday, but I think that was just he got a cake. He was a teenage boy. He did not want you to pay attention to him. He's like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was actually during his birthday.
It was the week before.
Yeah.
So.
But Ron,
yeah, you tell them you're celebrating something, they'll give you something.
They'll celebrate.
So Ron, you haven't been on a cruise during a holiday or sort of occasion, is that right?
No, ours was the inaugural cruise in New Orleans. That was
that's cool.
Kind of the special thing about that one, which they didn't do anything for that. They did everything for the inaugural cruise leaving New Orleans.
Interesting. If there was a holiday or a special occasion that you all would like to experience on the cruise that you haven't yet already, what would you want to celebrate on the cruise?
Halloween.
Marvel Day at Sea.
Marvel Day at Sea would also be cool.
We didn't technically do the Star Wars cruise, but we went on, we got on the boat the day Force Awakens premieres and we watched it that night. And so everything was kind of Star Wars themed. They had all the Star Wars cruise merchandise, even though it wasn't
exclusive Star Wars merch. Yeah.
Which was cool.
Exclusive Force Awakens Star Wars merch.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
I definitely.
Very neat.
You walked onto the cruise ship and it was just dads being like, where can we see Star Wars? Dad called them weeks before the cruise to be like, will Star Wars be playing that first day? And they were playing it in the movie theater, obviously, throughout the cruise, but we went and saw it in the big stage show theater.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they played it the first day.
Can you talk about stage
within
shows?
the hour of boarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they premiere a movie on the ship, so you have 2 theaters. You have one theater that is a little bit smaller. I think it's one's the Buena Vista, one's the Walt Disney Theater.
Buena Vista is the movie theater. The Walt Disney Theater is the theatrical theater where they perform stage shows.
Yeah. So if there is when I went to see Frozen 2, and it premiered the time that I had gone on the cruise, usually they will have, stage shows at the Walt Disney Theater, the nice big one, that are wonderful. But if there is a movie premiering and it's a big movie like Frozen 2, it will not air, but it'll premiere in the big Walt Disney Theater where they usually have these stage shows. So instead of, right before or right after dinner, going to see these wonderful theatrical performances, the movie will be the evening entertainment. But with that being said, we saw those pictures that Colleen had just brought up of some of the stage shows, and that is something that is as far as entertainment on the ships go, this is such high quality. This is I think we were talking a little bit about this on Give My Regards to Broadway, where we were talking about how sometimes they'll take stage shows, put them on the cruise as maybe a testing, hey, can this go to Broadway? What's this response like? Yeah. And they're always winning awards. Twice Charmed, the Cinderella story, that's won so many awards. Disney's,
and Twice Charmed is funny. It's like Cinderella
I love Twice
Breed,
Charmed.
the movie, but it's a great musical. So they still play that. There's a Rapunzel musical. They do Frozen. I don't actually know if they do the Golden Mickeys anymore, but I loved that. That was like,
it's still on 2 ships.
okay, that was like the Oscars, and it's adorable. They'll do if there's not like a movie or so, you know, on the first night, they'll do like a welcome aboard show. It's kind of like, these are all the things you'll see. Here's Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah.
We saw Hercules, the musical, on one of our first cruises, which was cool. Villains
that being good.
show where the villains were like taken over, which was fun. I think we might have seen the Toy Story musical, but I'm not sure.
I don't remember. And then there's the show that brings in all the characters.
Yeah, Disney Dream, which is their like premiere show on the smaller ships, and they have a similar show on the bigger ships. That's, you know, a little girl getting in touch with magic with Peter Pan, and you happen to see every popular musical number, and that show changes with the times. So there wasn't Frozen originally, but there's Frozen now.
It's a good review show. It really is.
It is.
So every cruise ship has at least one of those kind of review shows, which I believe are. It's Dreams, Wishes, and is Twice Charms considered a review show?
No, Twice Charms.
No, they have Believe, I think.
The Welcome Aboard show
Believe, Wishes, and Dreams, right. Which are the Disney buzzwords always. Then every cruise ship has one major live action, I believe. That's like a live action play, which is Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and
Rapunzel. Tangled.
And Tangled,
Yeah, Tangled.
And then the Golden Mickeys they actually updated them when Chapek became CEO because Bob Iger's in the show on a video. So they didn't refilm they didn't refilm the part and put Iger up there. They just changed Iger's title, which you could tell that's one of the older shows because that's such an Eisner thing to do, is put himself into this show. So you could tell that's like a remnant of that time period.
I remember
and it apparently has nothing to do with it. Really is not like the Golden Mickeys at Hong Kong, which is a stage show there.
It's very cute. That's always when I cry. I don't know why. But along with that, so if you go on a longer cruise, like a 6 or 7 night, they'll have other stage acts perform. You know, comedians.
There'll be like one person who's on your cruise.
Hypnotists.
Maybe more. So here,
hypnotists.
Our dad volunteers for every show. He's very tall. He gets picked. Here he is helping a unicyclist on his unicycle. And then on this same cruise, so he did that the first night, then they won Match Your Mate, and then he did the hypnotist show. Now, I never really
Dad
believed...
was famous.
Yeah, people recognized him the whole cruise. I never really believed that hypnotism was real, but I do now. Here it was like this was like you have a pet, and he's like, this is my squirrel who does somersaults. They were told to dance
when Dad,
like Hannah Montana.
Afterwards, Dad said that, like, so this was the whole show, was this group. Dad said that he thought, like, 10 minutes had passed, and he thought he was going to bring up more people.
Yeah. And so then the very end, he told everyone, like, okay, you're going to go back to your seats and do this. And he told my dad specifically, when you hear this phrase or whatever, are going to stand up and shout, I am Hannah Montana. And so he did. And then
everyone in the seats around us is turned, staring at Dad.
I'm staring at him,
and Dad's just
camera.
like, yeah.
And then they went up and they all had to rub the cruise director's head.
That's amazing. It's Pirate Night.
And Dad looked very confused.
After he shouted, he was like he had no idea what was going on or why he was up there. And then a lot of these people will then perform in the adult area. And then there'll be plenty of acts who just perform in the adult area and don't perform on the main stage. So
Yeah, there's like pianists that are like there in the lounge. There's
here
singers.
we are with like a
there's
magician. We're doing a card trick.
Huh.
And on particularly longer cruises like the Panama Canal or the Transatlantic, you'll get real Disney celebrities like Paige O'Hara and Imagineers and stuff like that. And there'll be multiple because those are 14-night cruises with like 6 days at sea. So they really have to pack on the activities.
I don't know what
those are
the
the
show is.
Those are the kind of cruises, like holidays, that I want to go on more than the actual holidays, because I think those are something just as unique as being on the Christmas, because they're once a year. I know Jason's done the Panama Canal.
Do you have when we went up?
I do.
For that
I
sibling
think I do.
thing?
Okay. So this is an awesome story. Horrible picture. It was a magician, and he wanted sisters. And it so happened that this day, as adults, my husband is on this cruise. Shannon and I had worn matching outfits. I am in a blue sailor dress. She is in a red sailor dress. We are wearing little fascinator sailor hats.
That's so cute.
And he calls for sisters, and we raised our hand.
We're like, yes.
And he picked us. We get on stage, and he's like, I didn't plan this. I want you all to know I didn't, because it just looked nuts, because we're matching outfits. And so the whole bit was like he blindfolded us and put these necklaces on it that would belong to these psychic sisters or whatever. And it was like, I'm going to do something to, like, I'll touch one of you, but you're both going to feel it. And so it'd be like, oh, I brushed a feather along Shannon's arm, whatever. So, like, it was always that he actually, like, I think touched, like, Shannon was the other one, and he would, tap me on the back, whatever. Like, I'd feel the thing. But my parents said the part that was amazing had nothing to do with him. It was that Shannon and I have similar mannerisms. So when it would be like, which of you felt something, we would raise our hand in the exact same way. Where did you feel something? Like, we just moved in, like, sync, which they were like, that was what is amazing. It was not what he was doing. It was that you two were incredibly creepy.
We just,
we happened to move the same way at the same time in our matching outfits. But
just hearing the audience go,
yeah, because we can hear the audience reacting, but we can't see. We're blindfolded. Here's a puppeteer I have a photo of too.
I remember him.
Yeah, the like going to the adult club and seeing the shows was one of our favorite parts. Like, there's the show at 10 o'clock, and we would always go see that, and they'd bring in comedians and performers of different types just to entertain the grown-ups, and it was always great. Like, we would tell everyone, like, you should go to this. You should go do these things. Last time Mom did karaoke. Just randomly, she was like singing along, and a guy pulled her up on stage. I was like, Mom, why don't you just do karaoke? Because you would win, and then, like, yeah. Oh, this is a fun picture. It's not related to what we're talking. We were talking about our servers earlier and how the servers are great. So my aunt, she said that she didn't want dessert because she was full. So they brought her this plate that said, I'm full.
I love it.
And next to her, that's the cousin who later got married.
I know. You want to talk about Pirate Night, Allison?
I love Pirate Night. So it is, I think I said this earlier, it's not Pirates of the Caribbean, it's Pirates in the Caribbean. So there I am with Peter Pan, and I got my little pirate medallion. You can see in the background a bunch of people wearing these bandanas on their head, and those are actually given to you on Pirate Night. So you go home with those are souvenirs. So they always have some kind of Pirate Night. And
not every cruise.
Not every cruise they have it, but like on most cruises they have it.
I mean, in the Caribbean cruises.
Yeah, Alaska doesn't do it. Alaska does Frozen Night instead.
Yes. I did it when I went to Canada, which was kind of out of place. I don't know if they do that anymore. I mean, that was a while ago. But they don't necessarily do it only if you're going to the Caribbean, but that's kind of the main point. So they have Jack Sparrow. What's interesting is that the Flying Dutchman is back there. This is a Castaway Key. And after Hurricane Sandy, that ship basically is gone. It got so destroyed. So that's actually a really cool picture. So you have Jack Sparrow, you have Peter Pan, Captain Hook. Jack Sparrow always has super long lines. Sometimes you get people that they go pretty all out. Like you'll get people in full pirate garb that packed all of this pirate stuff, and they're dressed to the nines. So there is a Pirates in the Caribbean deck party. So that is later in the evening, and you have like fireworks, and you have music, and you have pirates on stage, kind of swashbuckling. Jack Sparrow, does he swing down from there?
So
Yeah.
he would come down on a zip line, but it's not him anymore. It's Mickey now. It was like Jack Sparrow, like around when Pirates came out, and now it's Mickey, which I thought I had a picture of, but apparently I don't.
I thought that changed by ship.
Huh?
I thought that was by ship. The parties are slightly different on all the ships.
Oh, that could be. I don't know.
Maybe.
I have lots of pictures. I don't have them. But yeah, the Pirates deck party. So like you all get those bandanas. Some people are really decked out. Some people are just like in pirate t-shirts. I apparently didn't pick out any pirate pictures to share. And then, you know, you go up on deck and they do this whole show, and then they launch fireworks off the ship. Cool.
Which they launch fireworks off the ship, you know, any cruise, basically.
But that's when, you know, they launch fireworks.
Do you happen to have the picture on one of the cruises when we were at Castaway Key and the Flying Dutchman was there? We must have been on like the Magic, and the Wonder sailed by, and they made a whole announcement because it was like that was the first time that the Magic and the Wonder were in the same place since they had been built.
Yeah. And so yeah,
so Dad got a picture with all three ships.
Yeah, I didn't have that picture. That's good, but it was really cool. But it's like they made an announcement. We were on one side of the island.
Yeah.
My dad ran to the other side of that. Oh, I think it was when I was in the wheelchair. So I'm in the wheelchair.
Yeah, I think so.
Dad ran pushing me in the wheelchair from one side of the island to the other so that we could get pictures
dad's a
of the two
photographer.
ships in the same place.
And the Flying Dutchman.
It was very cool.
But yeah, I mean, that was just a cool thing to see. Now all the ships are in the same place for the first time.
They're just...
Aw, that is true.
Sitting.
I am sending Colleen, I don't know if you're able to, I don't know if it's going to be able to send, but I'm sending it to our channel. I got a video this past December when the ship we were on was super close to another Disney cruise ship, and the captains, this is the first time they had done it, the captains actually coordinated with each other so that they could pull relatively close to one another, and time it so that the other ship's fireworks would go off and we would be able to see it.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So that was a really, really unique experience. I don't know, it's gonna take some time to load, so it might be a good minute.
Another time, we at a port parked next to what at the time was the biggest cruise ship in the world.
Oh.
From the Royal Caribbean, which even like our ship like made an announcement about it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the biggest cruise ship in the world is next to us.
We got lots
Because I don't
of
think
pictures.
Disney cares about having the biggest cruise ship in the world, because Disney's like, we know we're better.
I'm just going to keep clicking through pictures because I got lots of pictures, guys. But we can talk about whatever.
Oh, that's me. That was my first Halloween. I'm a cowboy.
Is that the carousel bar?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
This is from our first cruise. I don't know why Donald was dressed like... Oh, it must have been when we were at Cozumel.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
That's a cruise ship.
I think this is the second
Oh,
cruise.
formal night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a formal night.
Usually there's a formal or semi-formal night, and it is usually optional. Like, if you don't dress up, they're not going to, like, kick you out. We like dressing
Yeah.
up, so like we would dress up every night, like as we got older. This is on Castaway Key.
Plan out.
There's like some place.
Cute.
There's mini golf. You can see me sitting in my beach wheelchair.
With your legs crossed.
Yeah. We swam with dolphins.
Oh.
Right.
I swam with dolphins with my broken foot like wrapped up, like it was healing, but I was like, I'm gonna swim with dolphins. This is the sail away party when the ship is pulling out.
She's still at her broken foot.
Oh yeah, that's all the broken foot
Just
cruise.
wanted to walk around. So all the ships also have at the front of them a different character who's like painting the name.
On the back.
So the magic has Goofy on the back side.
They used to do, but I haven't had this happen in a couple years. They used to do a character breakfast.
That's available on certain cruises that you can pre-book. It's not paid.
Because we did
But
that on
I
like
think
our first 3.
I think it's 7 nights and
they pulled
longer.
it
The
from
same thing with formal night is only on 7 nights and longer usually.
So that's like
That makes
that's on
sense.
Castaway Key. This is Mount Rushmore.
Once I was finally as tall as everyone else.
This is the statue in the dream. It's Donald. Oh, this is a cool thing. There's this like scavenger hunt game thing.
It's like Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom.
It is the Midship Detective Agency.
Yeah.
And
there
it is on the
are-
Dream
so
and
you have
Fantasy.
Yeah, there's
Right.
3 different ones that you can, like, versions that you can play. So even if you go on the cruise multiple times, you can have different experiences, and there's different levels. So there's like a Mickey Mouse with villains quest. There is a Dalmatians quest, and then there's a Muppets quest. And you go around, and some of the paintings that are around the ship are actually not just solid paintings, but you can activate them to come to life, and you have to figure out different puzzles and solve little codes. And you have to go all over the ship to all the different decks, and you get a piece of paper, and then you mark down which villain has, you can eliminate different villains based on different clues, and you start to narrow it down more and more and more. And then at the very end, you can see the paper there. And then at the end, you kind of pick who you think out of like the remaining, 3 people you think did it, and then it'll tell you if you were correct or not. But you have to go.
It's a really
like,
cool
all
way
over.
to
It could take a
explore the
day.
ship.
It's
Yeah.
fun. It's like, a lot of people are playing day at sea. The big ships have mini golf.
Love it.
I have another mini golf picture.
Very mini golf.
I think it's Goofy Golf.
It is Goofy Golf. I think that was a missed opportunity. They should have called it mini golf.
I know I saw another golf picture, but now I can't find any.
It's okay.
Here's another on Castaway Key. Giant checkers, foosball. One of my favorite things on Castaway Key is you can rent bikes.
Yeah.
We did the Castaway Key 5K.
We did.
Nice.
I've definitely got pictures.
So that on our last one.
And you can walk the 5K. There's enough time if you don't have
Yeah.
Shannon and I
We
walked.
walked it.
Our dad basically did it twice. He ran it in 20 minutes, and then he ran it backwards, taking pictures of us.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
think I
can
ran
see,
the
like,
first
the art.
300 yards and then walked.
And we got like
There's
rubber
there's
medals.
a
for
tower
that.
you can climb.
I love that. I
And
went
here's
up
another
there
mini golf.
last
This is from a
time.
different cruise.
Cute.
Lots of fun. Like on Castaway Key, there's a lot of places to take pictures in front of the ship.
Yeah.
There's a
inaugural
lot.
sailings we go on. This is when you enter the ship. They announce your name, and are like, "Welcome
Yes.
to the Seiler family." This was.
And Colleen and Rob insisted on being separate.
No, we just
from
arrived
us.
later than Mom and Dad and Shannon had.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why there's a picture of us, is because you guys were already there.
Right, and we had to wait around in the lobby to take a picture of you.
Another sail away party.
Yeah, so they do the sail away party on the first day when you're sailing away, as you might guess, and characters come out and sing and stuff. And
Disney
It's a whole
fantasy.
big thing.
Napkin hats are a thing. They put napkin hats
Yes.
on you.
All
I love
the servers know
the
how to make napkin hats.
towel designs and stuff like that they leave in your stateroom.
I've definitely got
by
some
your-
of those.
Yeah.
I'll definitely make it
It's
there.
wonderful.
They gave Andy a towel birthday cake.
Aw.
Aw. That is cute.
You know,
So
lots
that's
of
Dumbo on the
characters
back of
you
that
can
shirt.
meet. Here's the theater.
Nice.
This is Mom and Shannon meeting the captain.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. So they will sometimes have like a set time where you can go meet the captain. He can sign something. So yeah, he was a captain we had on multiple ships. So I had him sign 2 hats.
A fun thing we've done, I guess, like 2 different times now is they'll do like drink tasting things.
Yes.
Yeah, they're great.
And they cost extra, but they're fun. So on the last cruise we went on, all of us, the last cruise Shannon was on, Shannon and Rob and I, and then by chance our uncle had signed up too. We did this drink tasting. We couldn't finish. They give you full drinks.
Yeah, it's a great value for the alcohol money, I'll say that.
You're drunk afterwards, but like it's fun. My mom and I did one that was like a liqueur and chocolate tasting on our last ship.
Oh,
that was great. So there we are with Mickey after
we
the
did-
race. This is Shannon and I in our matching outfits.
Cute. Love it.
We creep people
Yeah,
out.
we had done the 5. It was a martini tasting, and they gave you 5 half martinis, which is a lot at like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So there'll be a morning usually, where like you can meet every princess almost.
Yeah.
But you have to sign up in advance. Doesn't
There
cost.
are there
Yeah, it doesn't
are
cost
2 meet and
anything.
greets
You just go and
you need
say
to sign up for.
yeah. So like we did that.
It's usually there's a princess gathering, and the frozen meet and greets are also ticketed usually because they're in demand. And so what you'll do is you go through one line that moves between all of the princesses, and also meet together. The others don't, but you get a decent amount of time with each one, and you just move between them. They have a photo pass type system, which is extremely expensive. But they'll also the photographers won't touch your camera, but the character attendants will.
We always pay for. So it used to be you got physical photos. Now you can get digital downloads. And now we buy every photo. Like we will just do the package where it's like I want to download every photo that was taken.
But we're photo people.
Castaway Club, if you go on one cruise, you're automatically in the Castaway Club. You're like a silver member. Or maybe you're just, I don't know. And then there are different levels, like once you've been on 5 cruises, once you've been on 10 cruises.
Yeah.
Silver,
They give
gold,
you
platinum, I
lanyards.
think.
Yeah, after your first cruise, after you're done with your first cruise, you become, I believe it's the silver. Then after you've already completed 5 cruises, on your 6th cruise, you're a gold member. And then after 10 cruises, so on your 11th cruise, you're a platinum member. And each of those levels come with different types of benefits. So the higher the level, the more benefits you get.
So this was like a gold level reception with Captain Mickey.
Yeah.
But we just took Rob, figuring that they weren't going to check.
Yeah.
Here
you
was a
get,
towel,
like,
the
different
towel
gifts
lobster.
in your stateroom. Cute.
Oh, is this
You're wearing
the
that
one
for
that you
now.
went on with me?
Yeah. Here's another. Oh, I forgot to load in one picture. They'll use things you have. So like they used a teddy bear, or like there was one picture where like they put my fascinator and like a pair of glasses on the thing. And I don't have
They love to put glasses on them.
Oh, here it is.
Super
Yeah, this
cute.
one.
And yeah, they'll give you little chocolates, little chocolate coins, or little chocolate squares.
Those are
Pirate
cute
Stitch.
ears. Oh, Stitch is short.
Stitch is short. I'm really tall. I'm in heels. And this is another one from like the first or second, the Ariel statue.
That's the wonder.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I tried to
That was our
find.
second.
We had pictures of the back of every ship, and I tried to find a picture of like the statue on every ship. I went through are like.
Yeah, most of them are like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, but that one's Ariel.
Yeah, there's Ariel, there's Mickey, Minnie.
Well, the big restaurant on that one is Triton's, right?
Yes, the whole atrium's designed to be kind of Ariel themed. It starts on the sea floor, and the decor as it goes up takes you to the surface of the 3 floors of the atrium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you learn about the design and the art of the ships during the art of the ship theme tour. The tour is totally free.
Oh, that's not
Usually they offer it a few times during the cruise. So if you miss it one day or if it overlaps with something else, you're probably going to catch it on a different day. And I really I love the tours. They always point out something very fun, very interesting. They almost always start at Palo, and they talk a little bit about the design of Palo, the Venetian masks and such that they have inside.
So that's really the only way that you can see inside Palo if you don't pay to eat there.
And you can take the art of the theme tour a couple times, because every host, they're given like a large book and they get to pick what they want to go. Like some of it's going to overlap, but they get to. These are the hosts you'll see at all the events. I think they're called the event crew or something. Like there's like 8 or 10 of them, the cast members that'll host all the trivia, all the dance nights and things like that. And you'll see them everywhere. You'll really get to know them, like personality-wise, like who's going to do what kind of thing. But they each get to pick what they're doing. So some of them might take you to the kids club. Some of them might not. One of them might want to show you a certain restaurant. One of them might not. And one of them like told us that this was like when we went. He's like, "Oh, this isn't in the book. Not everybody's going to be able to tell you this because I was on board when they were reimagining Tiana's place, and I got to speak to, I think it was Ron Clement or whatever. And he points out that if you're looking at the ceiling, there's 2 stars painted on, which are for Evangeline and Ray, and then the only 2 bright stars in the ceiling. But like nobody, like that's not even in the like theme book. It's just something that they did.
There's a carpet. I think it's in the bigger ships. So it looks like it's this martini glass that's got like stars in it. But so if you look at it from the other side, it's the sorcerer's hat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. They talk about the carpeting too. It's something that like it really goes into the details and like that stuff always fascinates me. I don't know why, but like looking at the floors, theming the floors for each deck is fascinating to me. And if you ever get lost, like they have stars, and then whatever way the point of the star is facing, that's going to take you forward. So if you ever get lost, you can follow the stars on the carpet. Like that's fascinating to me.
And on the newer ships, like the fish extenders on one side of the ship are seahorses, the other are the starfish. So that's another way to tell you. There's a lot of great info. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I guess because you go into Apollo lobby sometimes is the only reason I can see why it's 16 and up. It's not 18 and up. But I would have done it more times if I could have took Andy with me.
So unfortunately, we got to wrap up. I'm sure we could talk about cruises forever. I certainly could.
Yes.
It's
making me so like homesick.
Yeah, they say welcome
back.
home. I mean, they do that everywhere at Disney where they're like, welcome home. But like when they say welcome home and I walk on the ship, I'm like, yes, this is my home. Yeah. I love it. Oh, that's adorable, Minnie. Someone said they liked my shirt at some point. This is not I didn't buy this on the ship. I got this on like a small shop, but I thought it was awesome. Same with my ears. The only way to get a cruise magic band is if you're a kid or you go buy one on eBay. Because they give the kids ones to like check themselves in and out. I went on eBay because I wanted one, and I just took out the center puck that was attached to someone somewhere and put a different puck in it so that I could have one. Because I love cruises.
I almost bought one off eBay because the only way to unlock the cruise ship when Disney Infinity was around was to use the Oceaneers Club band.
That's true. Oh yeah, that's so true.
Neat. Are there any other closing questions or anything else that we wanted to say really quickly before we get going here?
Moral of the story: Disney cruises are awesome. And,
go on one.
Someday, you should go on one. Oh, and I have Donald. I bought this on the last cruise because he's adorable.
Oh, cute.
My mom,
That was
I'm like,
cute.
Mom, I want this backpack. And she's like, have you told your husband that? And I was like, but it's only available on the ship. So I need you to buy it for me right now. And if you can swing getting your parents to take you on the cruise and pay for everything, that's definitely the way to go.
Mom in the chat was like, I bought that.
She did. She's the best mom in the world.
And
This
I do want to say, like,
dress
it is.
It's also exclusive to
Yep.
the ship.
Oh, that's so cute. Someone in the chat earlier said they'd watch a whole show about your dresses.
Ron, what were you saying?
The cruise line is expensive, and it's more expensive than other cruise lines. But when you compare it to a comparable vacation at Disney World, it actually is not bad. When our cruise for the five nights we would have done was comparable to the same thing at staying at Caribbean Beach and getting a dining plan and with only 4 days of tickets. So it really, if you're paying for Disney World, check out the cruise line and start with something like a 4 or 5 night, because 3 nights you're never going to accumulate yourself. And those 4 or 5 nights, other than the 4 night, you get the day at sea. So that's something you need to
we
really.
always think the day at sea is the best. We went on one where you went to Castaway Cay like the first day and the last day, and that was pretty awesome.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like
Those
that.
are the most
Yeah, and
expensive cruises. Those double dips.
And I would definitely recommend going on the like Caribbean ones so that you can go to Castaway Cay.
Yeah. Castaway.
I want to go on other ones that go other places, but
I keep trying to
more
convince my
expensive.
parents that we should go on a Mediterranean one. I don't want to pay for anything.
Sounds nice.
So I need my parents to take us. But like we went on the Magic and the Wonder, and then obviously the Dream and Fantasy came out, and we went on them the years they came out. So whatever.
okay, but we also didn't tell the story that we got the Wonder for free.
So a quick final story, because we have to end because time.
I told this on Staff Memories too. So.
On the first cruise, about halfway through, Shannon and our mom got sick. And
Cruises were less clean then.
There weren't hand sanitizer everywhere. They didn't hand
yeah.
you a hand wipe when you walked into a restaurant. So they got sick. They were quarantined in the room. They didn't get to go to Castaway Cay. Like, Dad, I remember going to dinner, just Dad and I, and the waiter had your drinks and was like, "Where are they?"
Yeah.
And so then Dad always fills out surveys. If you fill out surveys and come across as a powerful white man, you get things. And he was like, we were disappointed and they didn't get to do stuff and whatever. So we'd been on like a 4 or 5 night cruise or whatever. And so they gave Mom and Shannon, or maybe we'd been on a 7 night cruise. So they gave Mom and Shannon
a 7 night.
a free 7 night cruise, which we were able to turn into a like 3 or 4 night cruise free for all 4
For
of
all
us.
4 of us.
And because they did that, we have been on 7 cruises. Like, that, cemented to my dad.
Worth it.
Cruises are great.
This is it. This is the one. So.
But they would not do that today.
No, they probably wouldn't.
No.
Unless you were, dying. I don't know.
So, tonight, everybody, join us for the finale of WDWNT Live. It's our last show. There'll be lots of fun things and announcements about things that are going to continue and new shows that are coming up. And this has been great, and I have to turn us off.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for joining us for DCL News tonight. See you later.
Bye.
See you tonight.